Well, hello designers, and welcome back to Seal by Sketchbook. This week we'll talk about how to charge your interior design clients. So we'll talk about all about the fees of an interior designer. This video is going to be helpful for you if you're just starting out your interior design career, or if you've been working for corporate for a very long time and now you decided to go on your own. Legal disclaimer here: wherever you are in the world, you need to have your license to practice interior design, so make sure that you have whatever it takes for you to practice legally. You need to be aware about the taxes, you need to be aware about how to legally prepare a contract. But other than that, let's talk about the fees, how to charge an interior design client. I can tell you that it's really hard to ask someone for price for your services, especially when they're already paying a chunk of money to, renovate their house or to design their house. It's kind of tricky, and it's officially international because Kimberly sold her podcast Business of Design. She talked a whole lot about this, and I'll link some of my favorite podcast episodes down below. You need to understand that you're charging for a service, and the service we give as interior designers is pretty goddamn big. It's not easy to be an interior designer, contrary to the belief you're just drawing or you're doing 3D. It takes you such a long time to get your process together as an interior designer. And this is what I'm trying to help you with in these videos. When you're starting out and you just want to charge, what exactly do you charge? Well, it depends on a few factors. Of course, your experience matters. So how long have you been in the market for? And how much work do you have in your portfolio? That definitely affects your pay. The other factor that affects your pay is where do you live and what's like the average rate for interior designers. Now, if you're confused about this, I do suggest you to go to firms that specialize in interior design and ask. It's as simple as that. I know one of my friends, to determine her fee, she went and she pretended to be a client to another interior design firm, and I thought that was actually very smart, because then she knew the breakdown of the process on multiple firms, like how do they charge. Maybe not do exactly that, but I'm saying is that you need to know like the average price of the market, so you don't undercharge yourself and you don't overcharge. The third factor that will affect your pay: what kind of services are you including? Are you just designing? It depends on what your package includes. Is it just the space layout and you're just gonna hand it over to a contractor, or are you going to take it from A to Z? That should affect the price quite a lot. And I cannot tell you how important it is to charge in a fair manner. What does that mean? If you're working from home, or if you're working from a temporary office, or whatever it is that you do, because I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, then you've just initiated your business and you're kind of confused about how to calculate the fee. I'm totally with you, it's super confusing. You need to be super fair on, like, if the client is living away from you, then you need to charge a little bit extra. Now, how do you charge? Which is the question, which I think this is why you clicked on this video. How do you charge can be by multiple ways. So you can either charge by the hour. Charging by the hour is pretty self-explanatory. It's not common here in UAE to actually charge by the hour, but honestly, I feel like it's the most fair way, especially if you're doing the execution, the installations, and the supervision of fit outs, things like that. Charging by the hour is a solid way for you to have a fair pay, and you calculate your hourly rate by breaking down everything that you spend, from rent, from everything, and understanding how much do you spend per year, and then break it down to months, and then break it down to weeks, and then 2 days, then from there 2 hours. And this is how an hourly rate works. One of my friends is Cynthias. She has a channel called Space for Edit. I'll link a video that she did also down below, and she breaks down a lot of those information on how to understand your hourly fee. So actually that was very helpful for me, and I'll link it down below for you. Also, I'll link it here. The question that I had discussed before with multiple people, like, how do you calculate the exact time that you spend working on, let's say, an AutoCAD? So you want to understand how much time you spent on space planning, on mood boards, on things like that, because that is all time that's taken from you, and time is money. To understand that, I will link down below a few applications that you can install on your laptop or you can install on your phone, and then you can have a timesheet. And you should have a timesheet that you will submit to the client with the exact hours that you worked on what. And when you do that, you are being fair to them. So you need to clock how much you've been working on this project. You need to work on it for like a solid hour, for example, and calculate that hour as a billable hour. And you put it in a timesheet, you submit it. By the end of the month, you get how many hours, you submit it to the client, and this is what they should pay you. Now that's one business model. Another business model that I know of, because my first interior design firm, this is how they dealt with things. They also did fit out, and they also did like installations and everything. So they would actually design for free. If you pay for the fit out service, you put an overhead for everything. They used to charge per square meter or square foot, and I felt that this was an easy concept to grasp in the beginning, because as a beginner you don't know how to exactly charge, or you don't know how many hours this project is gonna take you, and of course you'll be like a little bit confused. But when we're talking about square meters or square foot, it's like a solid number, which like you can say that this villa for the design only, it will cost you this much to design, you know, and this much for me to actually supervise. I'm here to tell you that you need to charge for the design, but installation and supervision, you need to really understand that your charge should go up so high, even if you're a beginner, because it costs time, it costs money, it costs traveling, it costs energy. It's very stressful for us designers to do the installation or the fit out part. And this part in particular, I would suggest you to go with the hourly rate. Even if you do start out with the square foot, the execution time or installation time, or even like if you're supervising, it needs to go by the hour. I'm telling you from experience that it takes a lot more time than you think it will take, and it takes such a big toll on your health, on your mental health. I'm not here to scare you, but also like if you're going to be doing that, if you're gonna go towards installation, especially if you're one person and you're just starting this out on your own, understand that it's super stressful and charge a good chunk of money on these kind of services. Of course, there are other business models on how you charge your fee as an interior designer, such as this: if it's a kitchen, it will cost you this much for design and execution. If it's like by room, that also depends on the size, but basically you're charging by the room, or you're charging if it's a commercial project or if it's a residential project differently. It's called a flat fee. Flat fees, they are very controversial, they're very hard to calculate. They're also one possibility of you to get paid. Even if you are in the beginning, you need to understand that your time is very valuable, and if you have experience, you know how much interior design is. What's the word here? Because I don't want to say something bad, because I love interior design. It's very time consuming, it's very consuming on so many levels. It takes a toll on your life. Sometimes you have to like work unconventional hours, and sometimes you get calls in the middle of the night, especially if you are involved in the site, which is honestly, if you want the good nice life of an interior designer, don't do the execution, don't go there. It's just it's exhausting, and someone should have told me this, and I'm here to tell you. And I know how negative this sounds, but unless you have a lot of experience in sites, don't do it. It's really bad, okay? Okay, you guys, I'm Asil's editing self, and I was watching the video, and I know I sound morbid telling you not to do it. Honestly speaking, it's super difficult to execute a project from A to Z. If you're in one person, you will know what I mean if you do try it. But also, there is such a beauty in seeing your work come to life. So don't get too scared. And definitely just follow the regulation, be very clear with your client about it, charge well, and you should be fine. I hope that you got some value out of this video. Now, I'll give you an example from my previous firm on how much they charge per the square meter. It was 120 dirhams per square meter. However you decide to charge your client First of all, understand that your service is very valuable. Second of all, put everything in a contract. Everything that you're gonna do, put it in a contract in detail. There's also Kimberly Selden. I really believe in her. She's my like interior design mentor, let's say. And Kimberly Selden, she has a contract that you can buy, and it's such a detailed contract that will break down the process of interior design one by one. So if you want more about that, if you are more serious about starting your own business, I would really recommend you to go ahead, and I'll link it down below. So yeah, by the way, not sponsored. I'm totally like, I'm just a fan of her. I hope this video helped somehow. And I'll link down below some resources that I have as well for you on how to charge your interior design client. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great time of the day wherever you are in the world. Hold on. Do not forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. It will support this channel a lot. And have a great time of the day wherever you are in the world. Goodbye.